welcome to another chapter in the series Stories of Resilience. Today I am meeting with Miss Price, and we're going to be discussing what resilience means to her and how she was able to cultivate it throughout her life. So before we get started, I wanted to give her the opportunity to share a little bit who she is, and then we'll jump into it.
Hello, everyone. I'm Linda Price. I'm the owner of Healing Transformations, LLC. I'm a licensed professional counselor in Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama. I'm also the clinical director of a mental health facility here in Birmingham as well. And I really enjoy what I do, and I've been in practice for years, and I've been in this field for over 10 years, and I'm also certified in addictions.
Okay. So you have a lot of professional experience in helping people like heal and overcome. And so we talk about this concept of resilience a lot, and what it means is a little bit different to each person. So I wanted to ask you, if you were to fill in the blank, how would you fill in the following? Resilience is?
To me, it's pushing through the pain. To be resilient means to me, regardless of what environment or situation you're in, you're able to still push through and still be the best you that you can be, despite the circumstances surrounding the events that cause you to be resilient.
Yes. So I like at first, because when I hear that expression, push through the pain, like sometimes I feel like a little about it, because sometimes like the pain means something to us, but I love how like you elaborated that even more. And as I was like reflecting on your answer, I kind of thought of the analogy of like, when a woman is in labor and she's giving birth, like pushing through pain is part of the process to be able to create something new, to be able to create something beautiful. So it doesn't have to be like this, you're not paying attention to it and you're kind of just, like ignoring it and just moving forward. But when you do it with a purpose and there's a process to it, then you're able to overcome, and despite the circumstances, still become who you feel called to be.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And in pushing through the pain can turn a situation into purpose. Is that what you said is exactly right? Because, oftentimes people think that this pain is personal. This is something I've done wrong. It's punitive. And that's not the case most times. There's something in you that needs to be developed in order for you to get to the next level. You're in your now season right now, but in order for you to get to the next, you got to understand how to deal with the now.
Yeah.
And I'm real, keen on that, like understanding what season you're in order to get to the next.
So how do you do that? How do you assess the season you're in?
I do that by just assessing on a different level. I use discernment, but as well, I'm not emotionally charged by everything. Everything doesn't need a response from me, and everything doesn't need my attention. So in saying that, I don't respond. Some people, if they say something negative, you don't have to respond in a negative way. You can process it and see what are they going through that they're saying things to you in that way. Where are they right now? Don't take everything so personal. So if someone said something personally, about me, I would basically try to assess where are they right now in regards to who they are, that they feel the need to say something to try to bring, somebody else's character down.
Right.
Often that's where pain comes from.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Yeah.
Because you're using a compassion as a way to even remove yourself from the situation. So it's not personal. Like, I'm going to be compassionate and empathic towards this person and understand where they're coming from, so I could see that has nothing to do with me.
Has nothing to do with me at all. It has something to do with maybe an insecurity inside of them. It could be some pain that they're dealing with, because one thing I do understand, wounded people wound others. And often though, you'll end up bleeding on people who didn't cut you because you're already wounded on the inside. So we have to be aware of the wounds we have and the wounds that other people are carrying as well. Right. And just have a little compassion towards that. Everybody's on different levels.
Yeah. I love how you say that, because a lot of times we tend to think about compassion like as a weakness, or, like it's something like that makes us soft. But like the way that you're describing it, compassion is actually something that gives you more power over any situation, because then you're not moved and being controlled or swayed by people's opinions or by your emotions, like taking the driver's seat. Like, it gives you a higher level of understanding of not only yourself, but the situation and the people around you.
Exactly. And as clinicians and healers, we both know that that's very important in helping the people that we serve, to get
Yeah.
them to understand that too. So they
Yeah.
won't always be moved by things that they see or feel, even feel or hear, but they'll be
Right.
able to just go a little deeper, dig a
Right.
little deeper, in order for that not to be the story of their lives, just
Right.
constantly in recovery mode, always recovering from something
Yeah.
somebody has said, done to you. I don't want to always be in recovery mode.
Yes, I love that. So when did you first realize how resilient you were?
Well, I had a series of events to happen back to back to back, and I had to just write it down because I didn't understand it. I was like, God, why are you putting me through so much? My mother died the same week I had my baby. Leading up to that, it was just so much, family chaos, just different things going on at the same time. So leading up to the point that I accepted that she was going to die, and she accepted it too, and I knew that I was about to bring another life in the world at the same time, it caused that, almost just broke me. So I had to just really assess within myself, because she died or passes doesn't mean that I have to die too. So, and she
Mm.
told me that before she passed. She said, she said, because I die, she said, I'm going to be fine either way. Don't you die. You continue to live and you continue to do the things that I taught you. And that helped me, because when I had my baby that Thursday, I had a C-section. I was hurt. I'm on the operating table crying. The doctors took off their hats because I told them my mom had just passed. And they stood and gave a moment of silence for her, and I'm just crying. Just crying. And it was in that moment that I said, if she was here right now, she would tell me to push through this pain. So after I had my baby, I'm up trying to walk, trying to move, because I know I can't stay in this spot forever. I can't stay down. I can't stay broken. I got to move forward.
Mm. Mm. So you realizing that one of the most difficult things we could go through, which is losing a loved one and losing a parent, and especially like that time in
Mm-hmm.
history, like when we're giving and bringing our own life into this world, like a lot of times, we imagine or envision like this is going to be a season of life that, I share, that I reach out to my mother like for mentorship and all of that. So like the weight of the grief in that moment, and then you being able to, it seems like you were like kind of observing yourself and seeing how you were able to do all of that, how you were able to overcome that. Like, was it like there in that moment that you realized you were stronger than you thought you were, or did it take a little bit of time and reflection to be like, hold on, I'm one resilient woman?
It was in that moment because I have a strong relationship with God. And even the day that she actually passed and I saw her heartbeat for the last time, one thing he put in my spirit to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. And that was, there's no other place I would rather her be. So, in that moment, I was able to, instead of grieving and crying, I was able to turn that around and celebrate the life that she had. And I thank God. I said, I had her for 30 years. So I appreciate that, because some people don't even have their mothers at all. So I turned it into gratitude. I was grateful in that moment, and that I can also share that with my children, because I have 3 sons. So I was trying to, in a sense, be the type of mother to them that she was to me. And that's how I was paying it forward. So in that moment, it hurt. I'm not gonna lie, like I didn't have days where I would cry, especially holidays, her birthday. She died in July, so Christmas just came up, my birthday in January, her birthday in January. So it was a lot. And watching this small baby grow and that she never got a chance to see, that also played a part in it. But I was able to stay grounded and just allow myself to feel those feelings, allowed myself to process in that moment. I didn't try to shift it, push it off. I felt everything that I need to feel, so I won't be on the end of grief, continuously grieving years
Right.
later, because I know
Right.
people still grieve 10, 20 years later.
Right.
So I was able to just go through the process myself, and allow myself to stay in that moment.
Wow. Okay. So I'm like trying to write down, because you like share so many like key nuggets and techniques just in that by itself. So that's kind of getting into the next part, and kind of the meat of our conversation is like, how do you cultivate resilience? How did you strengthen that? So you shared several things right now, but I kind of want to break it down for the people who are listening so they could like understand, okay, how do I put that into action though? So some of the things that I picked up on and helped me out, because I know I missed a couple, but one, you talked about being grounded. Another thing you said was feeling everything you were feeling and in the moment, not pushing it off for later, feeling it as it came in the moment. Processing things as they come up in the moment, and that gratitude piece, to use gratitude to transform your emotions. That one is a powerful one. What else did I miss?
Forgiveness, allowing myself, I didn't feel guilt, because a lot of times people feel guilt and shame. Well, if I was there, this wouldn't have happened. If I could have been there a little sooner, I would have been there. I realized there was nothing else that I could do in that moment, because the power of life and death is not in my hand. So I was, in reality, I was being a realist, being real about the situation. There's nothing I could do. So I relinquished the power that I wanted to assert over that particular circumstance. I had no power in it. I released it. And if I was harboring any unforgiveness, I forgave, and I was at peace, because I knew I've done all that I could do in this moment, and there's nothing more that can be done but to celebrate her life and live my life moving forward the way that I need to.
Right. Okay. So the forgiveness piece, that was more kind of like a forgiveness of self.
Yeah, forgiveness of self, because before she passed, we didn't know that she was sick. She didn't know she had cancer. So she found out in June, and then she died in July. But the doctors, well, if I would have brought her to this doctor, this hospital, period, could have been a different outcome.
Okay.
So I allowed myself to know, okay, it wouldn't have been a different outcome. There was nothing that I could do. This was set for her life.
Right. So it sounds like some of the steps in that process of forgiveness for you were, one, like understanding the whole concept of control and being able to like separate what is within my control, what is outside of my control, and then releasing the things that you knew I do not have control over. And then it sounded like another key part of that process for you is practicing compassion for yourself as well.
Correct. Exactly.
Okay. So for someone who is trying to practice and achieve self-forgiveness, you would say it's important to let go of what you do not have control over and redirect your attention to what you do have control over, and
Yes,
be compassionate with yourself. Would there be something else? Was there something else that was really helpful to you in being able to reach that place of peace, of self-forgiveness?
in knowing myself is a big piece, because sometimes people, they lack the identity to know they've been hiding under someone else's identity, and just say that person dies, and now you lack to know who you are. So in saying that, I had to assess who I am, and where I'm going. In order for me to love truly the person that I am, I had to know all of these characteristics and things about myself in order for me not to hold on to any type of guilt or shame, because I am treating people now, and I know one person in particular, she's going through the same exact thing, but she's holding on guilt and shame because I wasn't there when she passed, or I said a mean word to her while she was going through chemo. So I was saying you have to release that guilt and shame, and you have to go through, if you need to write her a letter and apologize or anything like that, let's do that and process those feelings, so you won't be stuck in guilt years down the road.
Right. Okay. So the three keys is like releasing not only control but also guilt and shame. And to be able to do that, you need to practice that self-compassion. Like have the same compassion for yourself that you have for other people. And then also go through a process of reevaluating and redefining who you are.
Yes.
What your life's purpose is, how it is that you choose to operate from this moment forward. And that'll help you kind of release some of that ties that kind of keep you stuck.
Yes, exactly. That's it.
Tell me more about how you used gratitude to transform the grief into celebration.
Well, I did this particular activity in which I wrote down all of the good times she and I had. So every time that I got sad, I would write down the good moments and caption them. I would read them and read them to my kids. And that helped me right there. Just, just going back through those moments and doing that particular activity helped me to have that gratitude. Like, this is what she taught me. Even during the holidays, I cooked meals like she used to cook them, and I would try to pass that down to my kids. Like, this is what I used to have as a child. My mom, she might not have been rich, but she was rich in love, and this is what I'm passing down to you guys. So I would do things like that.
Yeah. So that's beautiful, because a lot of people, they might be able to remember these things and then they kind of get sad because it's like, oh, I don't have it anymore. But the way that you use gratitude to transform that is to be able to remember those things and be like, I can still, she could like survive. Her memory is going to survive through me. Like, my children may not have been able to, like sit in her lap or hear her voice as she read them stories, but they're going to know what her meals tasted like. They're going to know like what those important lessons that she taught me are. And they're going to, like, the same lessons she instilled in me, I'm going to ensure that continues on for another generation. So like, and again, that word purpose is coming up again here, because it's practicing gratitude because I want to continue remembering this person in a beautiful way. And not even this person, like my mother, like that's just a whole nother level. And so using the gratitude for those moments allows you to live and create similar moments in the present versus just staying stuck in the past.
That's true. And I will say this is a key thing too. Oftentimes you got to be at a place that you're ready to shift that grief. It's so many people, they'll come to me, I'm ready to do this, but once we start working, well, I didn't think it was going to be that hard. They're really not ready yet. Sometimes, I hate to say it, but people carry it because that's how they've gotten attention in the past. Whoa, so-and-so, this has happened to you. So, that's how they get attention. So with me, I wanted to shift this. I wanted to be free from heavy guilt. I didn't want that to be my narrative every day, that I'm known as the person, this happened to her, that happened to her. So I turned that pain into purpose that I can help other people. So if they're ready to shift it, it can be shifted. It can be done. For someone in my same shoes, they might not have had the same response that I did. So I had to come to a place to understand everybody is at different places. So we have to first recognize and realize if you're ready or not.
Right. So it all starts with a desire, right? You need to kind of understand, like, what is my desire? Do I feel the need to stay here a little bit longer? Or am I ready to enter into a new chapter and learn how to relate with this in a different way?
Exactly. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Tell me like some action steps for those of us listening. How like in the moment, how do you process things? Because a lot of times it feels overwhelming. We just don't want to think about it. We rather maybe drink it away or Netflix it away or distract it away, kind of self-medicate in some kind of way. But in the moment, what are some healthy ways that you could process whatever adversity it is that you're dealing with?
Well, talk to someone that you really trust. Talking about it helped me, and also cry. A lot of times people think that crying is a sign of weakness. If you feel the need to cry, show emotion, do that.
Yes.
As long as you're doing it, you want to do things in a healthy way. I know in being certified in drug counseling that a lot of times people self-medicate. It's not particularly the drug that's the issue. It's the feelings and emotions behind it that's driving them to do those particular things. So you need to have a healthy outlet, a healthy way to process that's going to help you continue your life. You can't, because then you'll have grief on top of an addiction. On top of everything else, and you'll have to work on all of those things individually. So let's deal with the grief. Let's deal with the things that's causing you to want to self-medicate.
Right.
So just be in the moment, just crying, feel it, write. I do a lot of journal.
Okay.
I have my patients to do a lot of journaling as well. Write out your feelings, read it out, and just get with a trusted individual therapist or someone that can really help you shift this grief.
Right. So it's not about avoiding it, or it's not about thinking like this has no place in my life. It's learning, how do I look at it in a healthy way? because it's
Yeah.
going to come up, it's going to be here, but it's the way in which you relate to it that you're wanting to change.
Yes.
Okay. And what could you recommend for someone wanting to, like, encouraging people to stay grounded? How would you do that?
Have them to really take time for themselves. In life, we often play so many different roles in everybody else's life that we don't take time to really have time to ground and assess ourselves. So spend some time alone and quiet with your own thoughts, and really just write down your goals. Where are you wanting to go from where you are now? And once you have it written down and you can really see it in a way, then you can start moving towards it.
That's beautiful, because it like perfect circles back to how we started about like the whole the forgiveness piece. And part of that was like assessing, like, who am I? What is it that I want? What is it that I'm trying to accomplish? What are my visions? What are my goals? What are my desires? And a lot of the people who are feeling drowned or feeling overwhelmed, a lot of times answering those questions, it's hard for them to find the answers. Like, it's hard for them to see past the pain or the emotion. And so, yeah, that's it's the first step in a lot of what you were sharing, is like knowing, like, okay, what is it that I want? What is the goal? And like having a desire for something to be different. And once you have that, then you can ask for the help that you need. Then you could do the processing and the thinking that you need to do. But if there isn't kind of that clarity, if there isn't that like, this is what I'm going to try to do, then it's going to be hard to get anywhere, because you don't really have a direction you're trying to go in.
That's exactly correct.
Okay. So why would you say it is important for people to develop their personal resilience?
Because in life, things are going to occur. Good, bad, and different things are going to happen in everyone's life. You know, we have so many people that are suicidal, that are taking the lives of others. I would rather you build a personal resilience within yourself, that you're able to just get through the challenges in life, instead of resorting to things that end your life, someone else's, or put you in an unhealthy state. So it's very important to just gain resilience, because things are going to happen. There's nothing we can do.
Right. And the way that you phrased it too, it's like using these things to be able to like even upgrade yourself, because it's not like just coping. Like, you're taking it to another level where I'm wiser, I'm stronger, I have more clarity, I have a more defined purpose. So it's not, it is beyond coping. It's like using the adversity to help mold you into a better version of yourself.
Exactly. An upgraded version.
Yes.
That's your biggest competition, yourself, your upgrade to the next level.
Right. And then, what you're sharing is like, regardless of what you're going through, you could still use whatever circumstances you're in to your benefit, to your improvement and development.
Exactly. It's a learning process.
Yes. So lastly, as we're wrapping up, who is it that you would hope that your story of resilience touches?
I hope this story of resilience touches the person that's broken right now. When I say broken, I mean you're broken to your core and you don't know which way to turn. And brokenness is different from sadness, depression. Brokenness is, there's nothing else that I feel like I could do humanly possible. And I need someone to help me pick up the pieces. For someone that's broken and just don't know where to start or anything, just starting from the ground level up and just building back who you know that you have the capability of being, getting back to who you are and where you need to be. It's very important, because I've been broken. In order for me to be where I am now in purpose, I had to be broken down and built back up.
Linda, thank you so much for sharing your story of resilience with us, and all of the clear action steps we could take, and very important nuggets that we can apply to so many different situations, not only dealing with grief. So thank you so much for your time.
You are welcome.
With us. How can people get a hold of you if they want to work with you or just learn more about you?
Okay, they can email me at Healing Transformations. That's HEALING, Transformations with an S, llc@gmail.com, or they can go to my website, www.healingtransformationsllc.com. I can be reached by any one of those avenues.
Okay. Thank you again so much for your time and sharing your wisdom and your heart with us. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. Anytime, I'll come back.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.